20-year NBA career. He's now entering his 20th season. He's a 12-time All-Star, a 2-time Olympian. And Chris Paul. How is Chris Paul? It's great seeing you. You look like you're still young looking. You got all that energy. But by the way, you got the golds. You got the money. You've got the career and the legacy. You're a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Just up front, what keeps you going? Because you could call it a day today. What keeps you going?
First of all, thanks for having me, Colin. But I think what keeps me going is it's fun. It's fun. I get a chance to play basketball every day and say that's my way of life. I get a chance to take care of my family, but more than anything, I have a family. I have my kids. I get a chance to compete, and I've been hooping since I was 4 or 5 years old, and I still get a chance to do that at a high level, and I don't take it for granted.
No, you don't. Olympic basketball, FIBA's interesting. When I watch the games, the court looks so small to me. The three-point line looks so close. So you were a very good Olympian. How did you adjust your NBA game? Because it's not, people think it's just basketball. No, it's not. It's a different sport. How did you adjust your game?
It's a different game, and you try not to adjust too much, but especially when we go over with the Olympic team, we have such a good team, right? And I'll never forget one of the things Coach K told us one of those years is he said he doesn't want us to dumb our game down too crazy. He wanted us to bring our egos with us because it was necessary. And I think it was the time that we spent together. You got to think about 2006, we had tryouts, like real tryouts. And then we were together 2008 all the time. But there was a trust and there was that heartache that we felt in 2006 that really made us want to do that in 2008 and 2012.
You've played with Steph, you've played with Durant, you've played with Booker. I had said, I was wrong on this. I said, I don't know if I'd play Durant. I wouldn't want to risk injury. I'm Steve Kerr of the Warriors. He's a Phoenix Sun. I wouldn't want the Suns to be mad at me. I'm like, I don't want to screw anything up for other teams. And then he's on the floor in the first half, and I'm like, I've joked for years, Chris, if you had an all-time NBA one-on-one competition, he'd beat Jordan. I don't know how you stop him. You played with him. When you play with him and practice with him and you're around him all the time.
You talking about KD?
I'm talking about KD. When you're around him like you are, all these guys, is he better than I can even see on TV?
Yeah, KD is a basketball junkie. It's a lot of guys. It's a lot of guys in the league like that, but few love to be in the gym as much as he does. And he just, if you talk about one-on-one, get to his spots and just somebody who wants to live in the gym. Melo was like that too. Like I said, a lot of guys like that. But when you talk about just wanting to be able to shoot the ball and get to spots or whatnot, KD one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah. Yesterday, Steve Kerr got into a really, really tough spot where you got 40 minutes. The games fly by. These FIBA games just fly by. And you got all-stars. There's no bad players here. And it's all of a sudden Jayson Tatum, he doesn't play him. And I feel bad because Tatum's the nicest kid, but it's weird. When you look at the rotation, I get what he offers, I could get other players. Ant's more athletic. Steph, Booker shoot better. AD's the better defender. LeBron has got the ball in his hands. What do you make of Tatum not playing? Do you think it's odd? How do other players, what's that like when all-stars, there's always a guy that doesn't get in the rotation in the Olympics.
Yeah, it's always tough. I was at my gym yesterday, my CP3 basketball academy here at home, when I heard the results of the game and that JT didn't get in. But I know JT. I know he's a competitor. I know USA basketball is always tough, because you have, some of the best players in the world. And JT is obviously one of the best players in the world. And I always speak about our 2008 Olympic team, and that was my first time playing in the Olympics. And I always say that the three most important players on that team are great players that sometimes people leave out when they're naming that team. And that's Michael Redd, Tayshaun Prince, and Carlos Boozer. And I say that because those guys were just pros day in and day out. But, it's just a different landscape now where everyone's going to talk about it on social and all this stuff, man. But I just hope that JT knows who he is and what he's capable of and just continues to get ready for when his name's called.
So when you broke into this league out of Wake Forest 20 years ago, I remember you very, very well. tough physical player, great defender, distributor, mid-range shooting game. You kind of had it all. I've said this on the show many times. You're my point guard. I want my guy to defend. I want him to be chippy. I want him to be vocal. I don't care if everybody on the team loves him. I want mostly mid-range game, distribute first, score second. But when you broke into this league, there were some good European players. It wasn't like now. Like, I'm watching Wemby, and I'm like, what is that?
Right.
Are you surprised?
I get to play
Chris?
with him, too. I get to play as his teammate.
I know. What do you make of that? Like, when you watch him as an all-time great, what do you make of Wemby? What's his ceiling?
Yeah, I don't think he has one. You know, I said this before. He's one of those guys that after the game this past year, we all talked about how weird it was to try to guard him, to try to shoot over him. But it just shows you how the game has grown. I mean, and there's an appreciation, I think, for, you know, American players or whatnot of the European players. I was watching the Greece game the other day, and I saw Spanoulis as the coach. You know, I played long enough to remember him as a player. You know, there's NBA plays that's named after him, and now he's coaching the Greek national team. So it's dope to see how the game continues to grow, and it just means that, you know, people like my kids and all this stuff, you're just going to have to get that much better.
I actually think you work in San Antonio perfectly because of two things. You've always been good with mature, committed players. That's Wemby. You've always been good with coaches that are going to give you some ability to do what you want to do. You're like a quarterback that's been in the league 12 plays. You can call your own plays. You could have gone to multiple places. Why San Antonio to you? Would this be the final spot to you? Is this the perfect fit for you?
Yeah, I'm excited to hoop, to play, Colin, tell you the truth. I think I done played long enough to know that you can't say this is it or that's going to be it. I think what I'm most excited about at this point in my career is getting started and knowing that we got a great group of guys. We got a lot of young talent, Harrison Barnes being with our team, but I'm excited about the challenge, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Finally, you're co-owner of the basketball tournament. And so it's interesting how many former NBA guys, I was just reading this morning, 11 guys in the game tonight, 7 Eastern on Fox, have played in the league. Explain tonight's game. It's Louisville, Kentucky, which is an intense border skirmish here. These teams don't like each other. Explain what the basketball tournament is.
Yeah, the basketball tournament, we have a number of teams, and a lot of times there's teams that are put together, and there's a lot of alumni teams, and it's a big game tonight. I think tonight could be our biggest game attendance-wise, and I'm actually in North Carolina at my parents' house right now, but after this, I'm going to leave, and I'm going to fly. I'm actually go to the game tonight because I've heard how big this rivalry is, and I get a chance to see a couple of my old teammates and Eric Bledsoe and some of these guys, but it's a great tournament, and it's high-level basketball. It's extremely competitive, and as you know, every game has to end on a made bucket. Montrezl Harrell will be out there tonight playing with Louisville, Russ Smith. It's high-level competition. And I tell you this, Colin, I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it yet. If not, you should, because if you remember the Chicago All-Star game, do you remember that?
Yes.
And how we did that ending where it was an Elam ending where someone had to make a basket to finish the game?
Yep. And so is that what we're looking at tonight?
That's where it came from. This is where it came from, the TBT.
So it's called the basketball tournament, FS1 tonight, starting at 7 Eastern. I love that you love the game because as I watched LeBron, he got so geeked up to be the flag bearer. And so when I watch him, he's doing the muscle thing. He's all geeked up. And there's something, and that was Tom Brady, by the way, Chris, in his last year, is pumping a fist and yelling at teammates. And you and LeBron share that. There is a passion. When you watch LeBron, do you ever go, I mean, you've never been a teammate of him. I mean, you know him obviously very well. You respect each other. What do you make of the spectacle of LeBron at 39 still has the enthusiasm of 20-year-old LeBron from Ohio or Akron?
Yeah, I expect nothing less. You know, we both played in the high school All-American game together. We the same age or whatnot, but I went to college for 2 years. He went straight to the NBA, and that's just, there's a love for the game, but there's an appreciation for the commitment, right? So when you watching people seeing the dunks, the layups and all these things, but I think the thing that players more than anything appreciate in watching Bron is the commitment, the discipline that it takes to play for this long and to play at a high level for this long.
The basketball tournament, FS1 tonight, 7 Eastern, and we cannot.
Colin, it's $1 million to the winner, too.
$1 million bucks.
$1 million. $1 million to the winner of the tournament.
That's a tournament. That's a real tournament. Hey, it's great seeing you, and I appreciate you taking time for me.
You too.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.